प्रथमा नाम मात्रार्थे. So नाम मात्रार्थे प्रथमा विभक्त्याः प्रथमा विभक्ति भविष्यति इति. So when only the meaning of the nama is being expressed, so a prathama Vishnu bhakti is used. So we'll read Sankshodhani first. In any given situation, there are basically two meanings: the meaning of the nama and the relationship meaning. The meaning of the nama is the object which the nama expresses. Nama is a noun, a word used to refer to an object in the real world. In Panini, they also call it Sangya, or in general grammar, they call it Sangya as also. Like here, when we say Sangya, so it refers to like Atra Nama Karanam Sangya, but in general, nouns are also called Sangya. So a nama is a noun, a word used to refer to an object in the real world. For example, the nama go refers to the particular animal which gives milk and makes the sound moo or moo, whatever. This particular animal is the meaning of the nama go, or in other words, it is the object expressed by the nama go. The relationship meaning is the role that object assumes in relationship to another object or to a particular action, kriya. So the relationship of the object with another object is called a general relationship, whereas the relationship of the object with a particular action is called a specific relationship or a kāraka. Basically, so if we have a relationship between one object and another, then it's like sambandhe shashti. We use shashti vibhakti, right? And when there's a relationship between the object and the kriya, then it's called kāraka, where we do not use shashti and we use all other vibhaktis, Vishnu bhaktis, subadis, of course. There are 6 kinds of kārakas, but chief among them are the karta and karma. So karta is the agent of action, agent of the action. Interestingly, they do not say doer of the action. Generally, karta is described as yah karoti sa karta. One who does, one who performs action, he is karta. But Jiva Goswami will give multiple definitions of karta, because we have 3 kinds of karta. We have discussed that before also. Swatantra karta, prayojak karta, and prayojya karta. Yeah, prayojya karta. So
Prabhu, where was this discussed? Is there a particular sutra under which this was discussed?
It will be discussed ahead, actually, in this chapter itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why they have not used the word agent, rather they have not used the word doer, but agent. And karma, object of the action. So the essential meaning of the sutra, Prathama Nama Matrarthe, is that a Prathama Vishnu Bhakti is used when the relationship meaning is already expressed by the Shashti Vishnu Bhakti in the case of general relationship, or by the Pratyaya in the case of the specific relationship. And thus all that remains to be expressed is the meaning of the Nama. For example, in Krishna Keshinam Avadhit, Krishna killed Keshi. The Bhutesha Pratyaya Dip is ordained in Kartari Prayoga, and thus the relationship meaning of the Karta is already expressed by the Pratyaya Dip. And all that remains to be expressed is the meaning of the Nama, which in this case is the person named Krishna. Thus the Nama Krishna takes a Prathama Vishnu Bhakti. But the Nama Keshin takes a Dvitiya Vishnu Bhakti by Karmani Dvitiya, because because it is just karma. So thus a Prathama Vishnu Bhakti cannot be used here, since Another example is Shri Dama Jiyate Krishnena. Shri Dama is defeated by Krishna. Here the Achyuta Pratyayate is ordained in Karmani Prayoga, and thus the relationship meaning of karma is already expressed by the Pratyayate, and all that remains to be expressed is the meaning of the Nama, which in this case is the person named Shri Dama. So basically, Prathama Vishnu Bhakti is used to indicate the object which that noun indicates. As simple as that.
But can I just repeat this back to you because I want to make sure I understand it clearly?
Right.
So with Krishna Keshinam Avadhit, then we have a Bhutesha Pratyaya. So dip the Pratyaya there, which basically means he killed. And then Keshinam is the object. So who's being killed. So basically when we say Keshinam Avadhit, then we already have he killed Keshi. So then we use Su to indicate who killed Keshi. And so in that way, we're the only thing, because we already have a karta, we have a complete sentence basically. We have Keshinam Avadhit. So
Right.
he killed Keshi, and we don't need anything else to finish that sentence. Now we're bringing Su just to indicate who it is that killed Keshi. And in that way, Su is really only indicating the meaning of the Nama there. So when we say Krishna Keshinam Avadhit, and then it's similar with the other example, Sri Dama Jiyate Krishna, I think it was. So we already have he was conquered by Krishna, Jiyate Krishnena, and then we use Pratama Vishnu Bhakti just to indicate the person who was conquered by Krishna.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, Suptinganta Padam Vakyam, the very common and famous statement. Suptinganta Padam Vakyam. So Padam is equal to Vishnu Padam in Harinamamrit Vyakaranam. So in a Vakya, in a Sanskrit statement, in a running Sanskrit statement, either shloka or commentary, prose, padya or gadya, any word which is to be used, it has to end with either subantas or tibadis. We can't just use the pratipadikams or the prakriti itself. So suptinganta padam. So that's why, like, just to indicate the subject or the doer of the action also, like in this case. So for prathama, we use prathama vibhakti, which is su, au, and just three, singular, dual, and plural.
So the basic point here is that actually the karta is indicated by the pratyaya attached to our dhatu, right?
The pratyaya?
The karta is indicated by the pratyaya which is attached to the dhatu.
Right.
Yes? Okay,
Right.
so that's the basic point here. So basically it's like a technical thing that the way we've been looking at it thus far, that Prathama Vibhakti actually indicates the karta is not necessarily true, because that's already covered by the pratyaya attached to the dhatu. And really Prathama Vibhakti, the Akyata pratyaya. And so the Prathama Vibhakti is really used just to specify who the karta is, or who the karma is if it's a karmani prayoga sentence.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I mean, yes, the kartritva is expressed by the pratyaya itself. I mean, the akhyata pratyaya.
Yeah.
So, but who is that karta?
Exactly.
Is expressed by this suaujas.
Yes, that makes sense. It's a really kind of head spinning point at first. You're like,
very, very
how does
subtle
this
point.
make any sense at all? Yeah, it's very subtle. But once
By
you
the
get
way,
it,
your
it makes
lights,
a lot of sense.
By the way, the lights on your background are hitting the eyes.
Oh, sorry. Is this better?
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like when I'm seeing you, so the lights on either of the sides. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to find the best back wall I could in this place.
Okay, so going back. So I purposefully read Sankshodhani before reading any, because Sankshodhani, in such cases, it really gives a very simple way of explanations. Um, so vritti, when only that which the nama itself expresses is being expressed, Prathama Vishnu Bhakti is used. Yeah, I mean, that's all. You can read these all. This vritti is actually very interesting. So it talks of, strilinga, pulling, and napunsakalinga, and what it really means by the three genders and how they work. Like linga is expressed by the means of the words stri, pungs, and napunsaka, feminine, masculine, and neuter, and is defined in the Mahabhashya as sansthyana prasarau lingam. Sansthyana means contraction, which is defined as drawing inwards on account of parts coming together due to combination, and prasara means projection, which is defined as increase due to expansion. The meaning is this: linga is the specific quality variously assigned to a thing by the Lord in terms of the contraction, projection, and state of balance of the two seen in females, males, and neuters, which are respectively recognized by the symptoms of breasts and so on. Linga also applies to a nama by figurative application. Examples of namas which have lingas are the feminine word like vapi, masculine word tadagaha, and the neuter kundam. Furthermore, sometimes the gender assigned to a nama is figuratively applied to the thing which is expressed by the nama. Right, but it is not always the case. For example, like this statement says that sometimes, this word is important, sometimes the gender assigned to a nama is figuratively applied to the thing which is expressed by the nama. For example, like Krishna, the word Krishna is in masculine gender, and even the object, the person referred to by the name Krishna is also masculine. But let's say I use the word Devata. Devata. Now the word Devata is in feminine gender, Lakshmi Linga. But the object referred to by the word Devata, they are masculine, demigods.
Yeah.
So it's not always the case. That's why it says sometimes.
They give some examples for that also.
Yeah, for example, Sundarah, Dara, the beautiful wife. Why plural here? It should be wives, not?
Yeah, I think it should be wives.
Yeah, it should be wives, the beautiful
Made a
wives.
mistake there. But in any case, it's in masculine, even though it's referring to a feminine object, because Dara is a masculine word for wife.
Puji, other is being given here.
I was going to say that actually to a wife.
No, actually, especially these cases, you have to be careful when it comes to wife.
Krishna. I'm sitting with, I think, many experience holders. Personally, I don't have any experience.
So it's asmadastu agauravatvepi, and I would say
Yes.
Dara tu agauravatvepi.
And Puji, Dara, I would say
Gaurave agaurave cha. So Sundari Devata. Interesting, huh? Sundari Devata would sound like referring to a feminine, like a demigoddess, but it's the beautiful demigod. And Sundaram Daivatam, the beautiful demigod. So, like that. So that was Prathama Nama Matrarthe. You're most welcome to go through all these explanations. And best of luck that we don't get confused also, because sometimes they're very tricky, the explanations.
So I had a few questions from the previous session. So whenever you feel comfortable, please let me know. I would like to ask.
Previous means yesterday one?
Yes, yes, yes.
Acha. Okay, I'll let you know. Sambodhane cha. A Prathama Vishnu Bhakti is also used when there is Sambodhana. So basically the previous one was Prathama Nama Matra Arthe. So cha sort of brings, so is Anuvritti of Prathama Shabda. So Prathama Sambodhane cha. Sambodhane cha. A Prathama Vishnu Bhakti is also used when there is Sambodhana. Sambodhana means Amantrana, and Amantrana means Tacha Namna Naminah Abhimukhya Bhavanam. It's very nice actually, the Sanskrit. So when we would study, our Guruji would read Sanskrit and he would explain. So Sambodhanam, Amantranam iti Tacha Namna or Tasya cha Namna. Tacha Namna Naminah Abhimukhya Bhavanam. So calling by name of the one whom we are calling, and then Abhimukhya Bhavanam. Basically attracting the attention of the possessor of the name by calling his name. Yeah. Namna Naminaha. Namna Naminaha. I think Namina should come first, na? Naminaha Namna. Or Namna
Yeah,
Namina.
literally by the name of the named. Yeah.
Right.
But
I
normally
feel
it would be
Namina should come
Shashti
first.
Yeah.
I feel Namina should come first and then Namna. So Naminaha Namna Abhimukhya Bhavanam iti Amantranam Sambodhanam cha. So Sambodhana is indicated by the words hey and so on, and sometimes it is understood even without such words. So like Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, so we put that element avyaya hey, and sometimes Ai Dina Dayadranath Hey Mathura. So sometimes hey is not used, but still that is Sambodhana, like in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Suppose we had hey as well in the Mahamantra, then it would have taken 20 minutes to complete a round or something like that. Hey Hare, Hey Krishna, Hey Hare, Hey Krishna, Hey Krishna, Hey Krishna, Hey Hare, Hey Hare, ityadi. Apratama Vishnu Bhakti is also applied after Nama when there is the extra meaning of Sambodhana. Thus, when the meaning is, may you, whose name is Krishna, turn your face towards me, we get Hey Krishna. Okay, what's the vritti for this? Krishna namnah tav abhimukhyam bhavatu iti arthe. Okay, Krishna namnah tav abhimukhyam bhavatu iti arthe he shabdasya prayogah. Hey Krishna, Hey Krishna. So may you, whose name is Krishna, turn your face towards me. So we get Hey Krishna. Or when Sambodhana is understood, just Krishna. Krishna. Yeah, so Sambodhane cha.
So it seems it literally means when you call somebody, the intent is that that person kind of turns towards you, or he's responding to you by turning towards you. I think that meaning is inherent in Sambodhana. The reason you call somebody is they want to talk to you. You want them to turn around and talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or something like that. Yeah, get their attention. Exactly. Yeah.
Was it Abhimukhya Bhavanam?
Yes.
Abhimukhya.
I think it's, and people feel offended, right? If you just call them and they don't look at you and talk.
Yeah.
Sambandhe tadashrayat shashti. When relationship is being expressed, sambandha, a shashti Vishnu Bhakti is applied after the ashraya of the relationship. Ashrayat, the ashraya of the relationship. Okay. This is interesting. This so Swami Jana Janako ityadi. Sambandha is a connection between two things which someone desires to express as being different. Sambandha necessarily involves two things. Yes, for a relationship, we have to have two things in relationship with one another. Like teacher, student. I mean, many examples could be given. So when Sambandha is understood, Shashti Vishnu Bhakti is applied. After that thing, the Ashraya, from which the connection proceeds to the other thing, the Vishaya. So the Ashraya and the Vishaya. So moreover, the direction in which the connection proceeds is based on the desire of the speaker. This is also true. I can say Krishnasya Bhaktaha, or I can say Bhaktasya Krishna. Bhagavatah Bhaktaha, Bhaktasya Bhagavan. So it depends on the desire of the speaker, which way he wants to speak. Like the Ashraya and the Vishaya, he can decide. But another Vishnu Bhakti, such as a Prathama and so on, is applied after the other thing, Vishaya, according to what is appropriate. So Krishnasya Bhakta, so Bhakta takes Prathama. Or it could take another Vishnu Bhaktis as well. Like, for example, Ramaha, Dasharathasya Gam Dadati. Ramaha Dasharathasya Gam Dadati. So Rama is giving or donating the cow of Dasharatha. So here Dasharathasya Shashti Tat Sambandhi Gauhu, I mean Gam in Dvitiya Vibhakti. So another Vishnu Bhakti such as Prathama and so on is applied after the Vishaya.
In that, Prabhuji, in that example, shouldn't you use Chaturthi?
I'm sorry?
Shouldn't you use Chaturthi in that case?
No, he's not giving, Rama is not giving to Dashratha, he's giving of Dashratha. So let's say Ramaha Brahmanaya Dashrathasya Gam Dadati. So Rama is giving the cow of Dashratha to the Brahmana.
Okay.
Brahmanaya. So Chaturthi Vibhakti, the recipient is Chaturthi, Sampradana.
Yes. Okay. I thought in the expression you made, I thought it was giving to Rama. But so Rama is giving Dasharatha's cow to somebody. Is that what you intended?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So a Prathama Vishnu Bhakti is applied because since the connection of the two things is already expressed by just one Shashti Vishnu Bhakti, all that remains to be expressed is the meaning of the Nama. For example, Krishnasya Bhaktaha, Krishna's devotee, means the devotee's connection is through the connection proceeding from Krishna. Similarly, we get Bhaktasya Krishna, the devotee is Krishna, and Krishnasya Saundaryam, Krishnasya beauty. Why do we say which someone desires to express as being different? Consider Shyamo Ramaha, so here green Rama. So Visheshan and Visheshya thing comes here. What is this? Yes, so Shyamo Ramaha, it's not a relation here. Like we also read in that Visheshya.
Visheshana Rupa Visheshya. Samanadhikaran, that's
right.
Adhikaran is not Saman.
Vyadhikarana basically means Shashti relationship. Yeah.
So in Shyamo Ramaha, this is Samanadhikarana.
Yes.
So Shyamatva and Ramatva resides in the same object, the person called Rama. So Vyadhikarana relationship. In Vyadhikarana we put Shashti.
Yes.
In the same way, others say, Bhedya Bhedakayoh Shlishti Sambandho Nyonyam Ishyate Dvishto Yadyapi Sambandha Shashtyutpattistu Bhedakat. Ishyate. Asit Prabhuji, what is the dhatu here?
Ishyate. Look like Ish only, Prabhu.
I mean, what's the gloss for that? Like Bhusatayam and all, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Ish.
Means to desire or like or something.
So it's Ishu Ichayam.
Ichhaya. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, Jayadwarka Prabhuji, what's the verbal root for this shlishte? Ujjwal Prabhu?
Lishya.
And the meaning is
Alingane.
alingane, shlisha alingane. So, ashlishyava padratam. So, just
But which form is this, Prabhuji?
this is
Kridanta.
Kridanta.
Yeah.
Kridanta.
Like Shakti. Shlishti.
I
Like
thought that you are
Shakti,
asking for the form. The dhatu I recognize because
Okay. So, like we have words like Shakti, Bhakti, and so on. So, similarly,
yes.
The connection of the Bhedya and Bhedaka, Visheshya and Visheshana with each other is called Sambandha. Yes. Even though Sambandha involves two things, Dvishthaha, Yadi api Dvishthaha Sambandha, a Shashti Vishnu Bhakti is applied only after the Bhedaka. Bhedaka. The implied meaning is that a Shashti Vishnu Bhakti is applied only after the Bhedaka because the Bhedya already has another Vishnu Bhakti assigned to it, which is Prathama or any other Vishnu Bhakti. Sambandha is actually of four kinds. This is important because Swaswami 1, Janya Janako 2, Avayavayavi tatha 3, Sthanyadesha iti prokta sambandhascha upacharatah. So by upachara, figurative extension, how will you say upachara in simple words? Like
Example?
conventionally,
Not example.
like conventionally, like in usage as a tradition,
Yeah.
sort of all relationships are said to fit into the categories of number 1, Swaswami, property and proprietor, like Jagatah Pita. Yeah, can say so. Or Grihasya Swami, whatever. So Swaswami.
Krishnasya Pustakam.
Yeah, Krishnasya Pustakam, Swaswami.
Give
Then
an
Janya
example.
Janaka.
What is that? Harer Putro Vishnur Bhakto. So Vishnur Bhakta. That's the example that's given right here. Vishnur Bhakta. That's
For Swaswami?
Swaswami. Yeah.
Achha,
And then
okay.
Harehi
Examples are
Putraha Janya Janaka.
Janya Janako Matuhu Putraha.
so examples are coming up also. Next shloka. Janya Janaka, generated and generator, and Avayava, Avayavi, like avatar and avatari. So part and whole. Avayava is the limb, like part, and Avayavi is the whole, like and Sthani Adesha, original and substitute. Original and substitute. For example, Vishnur Bhakto Hare Putraha Shri Krishnasya Ambujam, and Trivikramopya Uddhavasya Chaturdheyam Udahriti. Examples of each of these four kinds of relationships are Vishnur Bhaktaha, Vishnu's devotee. So this is for Swaswami.
Swami.
Then Janya Janakaha is Harehe Putraha, Hari's son. Then what was the third one? Avayava
Avayava, part and the whole.
Avayava Avayavi. So Shri Krishnasya Padambujam, so Lord Krishna's lotus foot, and then Sthanyadesha Uddhavasya Trivikramaha. The Uddhava becomes Trivikrama. So this Sthanyadesha concept we see a lot in Harinamamrita.
Yeah.
Vyakranam. Uddhavasya Trivikrama. Sthani Adesha. So
shouldn't this be translated as lotus feet because Adar Aditya here?
Okay, in that sense,
हाँ,
Padam Bhujam. Like
पूजे
yesterday we read
पूजे
Padam.
yes yes
Just jatyakhyayam,
एक वचनम जाति जाति
ekavachana,
आख्यायाम एक
Yeah.
वचने
jatyakhyayam,
बहुवचनम वा
ekavachane, bahuvachanam.
Yes, we can say
Wow.
so. Padam Bhujam. Lord
That,
Krishna's lotus.
it doesn't make sense to say foot even. I mean,
I mean,
Yes,
foot is
sorry.
also feet, foot.
yeah. Also, Krishna, Vishnu Bhakta as a Swaswami, I think it's pretty philosophical for Jiva Goswami to say that. I don't know if others will agree with that, but a devotee inherently becomes a property of Krishna. In our Siddhanta, that's true. But the example he has chosen is pretty devotional example. You know, someone would have said, like Jayadwarak Prabhu was saying, Krishna se pustakam. That's what comes to our mind. But for Jiva Goswami to put the devotee, the property of Vishnu, you know,
Right.
a pretty strong example to remind us who we are.
Yes. So from now up till the end of the section on Upapada Vishnu Bhakti, so this will be a section ahead. The different kinds of relationships will be described. So this is good. Moreover, in the Nama Prakarana, Visheshanas were explained to be of two kinds: Samanadhikarana, existing in the same object, and Vyadhikarana, existing in a different object. Examples of the Samanadhikarana Visheshana were already shown there, but the Visheshya and Visheshana are Vyadhikarana here because they exist in different locations. Therefore, the Vishnu Bhakti used for each of them is different. For example, in Krishna Se Bhaktaha, general relationship is expressed by the Shashti Vishnu Bhakti that is applied after the word Krishna, the Vyadhikarana Visheshana. While the Bhakta, the Visheshya, is distinguished by that relationship. In other words, not any old Bhakta, but Krishna's Bhakta. Krishna's Bhakta.
What is the sense of old Bhakta Prabhu?
Yeah, I was also wondering why.
Probably that was maybe Ad Bhakta instead of old Bhakta.
No, that's an English idiom. Any old bhakta means not just any bhakta. It's just an English phrase. It doesn't translate well into another language.
I was also wondering why old. So
Because
not
it
just
means
any
like
bhakta.
not just any bhakta.
Right,
but
right.
Krishna's bhakta.
Like using such idioms in grammar books.
Yeah,
is
it's not
very
ideal. It's not ideal.
But Krishna's Bhakta. Thus, this Bhakta is distinguished from Bhaktas of Shiva, Durga, and so on. So
I just want to understand this point because we were reading the Vedika and Vedya verse earlier, and I was a little confused that
which one?
The verse on Vedika and Vedya, where it was saying that the Shashti is applied after the Vedika rather than the Vedya. So the Vedika is so in this sense, when we say Krishnasya Bhakta, the Krishna is the Vedika, the one doing the division here, because actually the Visheshya is the Vedya is the Bhakta, because the Bhakta is the subject, and then Krishnasya is adding some information to our understanding of what the Bhakta is. So in that way, Krishnasya is actually the Visheshana, right?
Yeah, I mean, it already explained here that the relationship actually extends from Krishna.
Yeah, so he's the holder of the relationship, but then still the Vedya is so the relationship is being attributed to the Bhakta, right?
Yeah.
Because that's also, it's very backwards from the way you'd conventionally think about it. Just like with the Pratama Nama Matrarte point. This is another one where it's like you kind of have to look at the thing almost upside down.
Right. So Krishnasya bhakta, so Krishnasya is Visheshana.
Because when we
Because
say the
actually-
devotee of Krishna, go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the devotee of Krishna. The
Then-
devotee
then
of
I-
Krishna.
Then I naturally think that Krishna actually is the Vishesha, and the devotee being of Krishna is the Visheshana. But actually, what's happening here is that the Vishesha is the devotee, and the Visheshana, which is distinguishing the devotee in a particular way, is Krishna. When we
Is
say
Krishna.
Krishnasya Bhakta, and so that's what I
Right.
was saying, that actually the Visheshana is in Shashti Vibhakti with this Vyadikarana Visheshana Vishesha relationship. So
Yes.
I'm really just trying to repeat because I want to clarify it in my head, because
I mean,
No
okay,
one
let's
sees-
say, let's take example of Samanadhikarana, Visheshana, Visheshya set. Let's say
Mhm.
Shyamo Rama.
yeah,
So green Rama. So where Shyama stands as a Visheshana and Rama is the Visheshya.
hmm
So the Rama is the Visheshya. Similarly, so there it's Samanadhikarana relation. Now in Vyadikarana relationship, Krishnasya Bhakta. So Bhakta is the Visheshya. And like, what more about Bhakta? Who's Bhakta?
yeah,
Then,
yeah.
okay, Krishnasya Bhakta. It's not Shivasya or Durgayaha ityadi.
Yeah.
So that way, Bhedya Bhedaka Vishesha
And then-
Visheshana.
And then it's a separate point that actually the word in Shashti Vibhakti is the ashraya of the relationship.
Ashraya.
Therefore, we say Sambandhe Tad Ashraya Shashti. That Krishna is the ashraya of the
Ashraya.
relationship
Of the relationship.
between
Right.
Krishna and the Bhakta, and that the Vishaya is the Bhakta, the object of the relationship. The relationship is like proceeding towards.
Yes.
So the relationship is proceeding towards the Bhakta from Krishna,
From Krishna.
kind of an ontological point. But there are two separate points, basically, that the Visheshana is Krishnasya and the Vishesha is the Bhakta. But the ashraya of the relationship is Krishnasya,
Krishna.
and the
Vishaya.
the Vishaya of the relationship is the Bhakta.
Ujjwal Prabhu, but in simple terms, don't we always, I mean, say, for example, the Visheshana is optional. If you make a statement, it's for devotee is going to temple or Rama is going to temple, then you can add on Shama Rama is going or Krishna's devotee is going. So this adjectival qualifying stuff is what really the Visheshana is, right?
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
you
that's a
remember
nice way
like
of
that,
putting it.
yeah.
That's a nice way of putting it. That it's optional and it's being added. Therefore, it's the
Yes.
Visheshana of our Visheshya.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Mhm. We'll read this tomorrow, this paragraph, when this is, talks of Vyapar, Upachar, and so on. So, nice details actually in Kāraka. So, we'll resume with this tomorrow.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Yes.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanapram Prabhuji.
Radhe Shyam.
Paramsundar Prabhu, could you share the, where are you putting the recordings? Is there a location?
They're all going live on the YouTube channel that's there. It's called Harinama Mritu Vyakaranam. You'll see a picture
I'll
of
share.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
I'll
You can
sh-
share.
Yeah.
I'll share the link.
Yes, because I'm kind of doing double duty sometimes. I'm doing office work. So if I miss something, I can go back and listen. Yeah.
I'll share the link, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, all the devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Jai Shri
Dhanapram.
Prabhupada. Yeah.
Yes.